Hey guys, it's Ian Benjamin again, Digital Hub. Hope you're all well. I am delighted to have my first ever cybersecurity expert as a guest on the Hub today. I'm with Francis West. He is the founder and CEO of West Tech Solutions and Security Everywhere. And it's no lie that Francis is a 30-year veteran of this industry and working with premium top tier one banks, councils, FTSE 100 companies. I mean, the list goes on. And, you know, and since lockdown, I think this is the 53rd session that Francis has done in terms of giving his expertise and knowledge and sharing insights into security. So it's great. So welcome, Francis.
Thank you very much, Ian, and thank you for the kind introduction.
No problem at all.
As people probably can see on my screen, you know, I've been in the game for 30 years, and I can only describe as what I've seen as a tsunami of cyber attacks, and especially on smaller businesses in the last 3 years. And I think, you know, since lockdown, just to throw you straight out there with some stats, I've got a lot of stats in my head. But I sit on a security panel in London, and since lockdown, we've seen an increase in scams of 660%.
That's
if
insane.
I tell you, I've, in all the years I've been in this game, I've never, ever seen anything like it.
Unbelievable.
So, and that's why, you know, a couple of years ago, we decided to make it our mission to educate and protect at least 1 million people from hackers and scammers by 2023.
And how's it going? Are you on target for that?
Yeah, I think definitely. I started with 100,000 and I went past in a couple of months.
Wow.
You know, so I post every single day on LinkedIn, you know, where I'm, and I encourage people to join or to follow me, because I'm always coming up with the latest scams or what to do to protect yourself working from home.
Right.
You know, there's just so much information. I mean, I could post probably 2 or 3 times a day, but once is enough, I'm sure.
It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. What I want to do, I mean, in usual Digital Hub fashion, before we kind of get into the questions and I'm digging around into your background, let me just give our listeners and viewers a testimonial. So this is from a gentleman called Sean Woods, who is a COO of an international organizational coach, Keen Consulting. And this is a testimonial gave to you, Francis, in May this year. He said, Francis delivered a virtual cyber security presentation to members of ABSCO in Australia, and I was fortunate enough to join in on the session. Although having an understanding of the threats, risks, and vectors facing individuals and companies, I was impressed by the way Francis was able to articulate the technical terms in clear and understandable language. That is so key in terms of how to articulate and communicate people. So you got that down to a T. His examples and live demonstrations added to the experience, a very impressionable session, which led to some specific takeaways for me to strengthen my cyber fortress. Thank you very much, Francis. So, boom. I mean, you know, so...
That's really kind of him to say that.
You know, so it's good.
I get a lot of those. But the thing is, you know, you're right. I think I'm known as a white hat hacker. So I like to show people real examples.
Right.
How it's done and how people get their hands on their data and how the data ends up on the dark web. And I've got story after story after story to share with you, hopefully today.
Superb. Let me ask you this.
And this stuff is scary. So I'm just warning people that if I'm going to show stuff, yes, it is scary, but I'm doing this for one and only purpose, and that's to create awareness. And I beg everybody that's listening or seeing this today to take action, to take 1 or 2 or 3 tips from what we're going to say today and take action.
Wow,
so you've got a choice. When you're sitting at home, either buy the glass of wine or invest in something that's going to protect not only you, but your business, but also your family. But
okay, superb.
A lot of the things we're going to do is free to do.
Okay, cool. Okay, let me just ask you this as well, on a sort of like on a conscious note. So were you ever at that point where what side of the line you're going to go? Because I mean, if you're, you know, that much detail, tell the truth.
It's a great question. I'm going to rewind about 40 years, okay? My dad was in the police for 36 years in South Africa. And he never, funny enough, he never ever even hinted that I should follow in his footsteps.
Okay.
And then I started...
But did you want to? Did you want to? Why should he hint?
No, not at all. No, I was in the army for 2 years. I was a lieutenant in the army. So I've always been, you know, had this kind of mindset. But when I left South Africa, you know, I got involved with programming and then very heavily into IT, and I've written systems. But I think finally, I found my calling, and because I've always loved helping people. So doing IT support for businesses around the planet, especially in the UK, it's one thing fixing their PC or making their server better. But I tell you, it's infinitely more rewarding protecting people's livelihoods.
Yeah, I bet, yeah, absolutely, and
You know,
getting paid for it as
and it's
well.
just so to answer your question, you know, it's definitely the thought comes through the mind, but no, thank you. I
Right,
like to rather educate and protect people than steal their money. It's much
superb.
nicer thing to
So
do,
you've
and
always
much
stuck to the
more
right. So that's
enjoyable.
great.
And
That's
I think,
fantastic. Because you see these movies where
yeah,
somebody, you know, they, what's that movie with Tom Hanks when he's a pilot and he was a fraudulent pilot, etc. Then now he's working for the FBI, like 25 years of doing that, and
yeah.
then he's now on the.
Oh, you talk about Frank Abagnale.
That's the one. Yeah, exactly.
Frank
So
Abagnale. He's my hero. I met him last year.
did you really? Okay, there you go.
So
Yeah,
in London, yeah, I went to a security. So this guy. So let me tell you something about him. I mean, the movie is brilliant. Okay,
yeah, it's a brilliant movie. What's it called again?
he's taken it to another level. It's called Catch Me If You Can.
That's the one. It's about 20 years old now. 15,
Catch,
20 years old.
Catch Me If You watch it again if you can, if you haven't seen it. But now let me tell you a story. He's just released a book. What I say is, I think it was end of last year, called Scam Me If You Can.
Right.
And I cannot recommend everybody listening. If you've got a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, buy this book from the Amazon. It's 10 quid to buy the book, and give them the book and tell them to read it, because so many older people are getting scammed. Okay, and the problem is younger people are getting done all the time. But the thing is, the difference between younger people and older people, younger people have the time to go and make that money back. But if you've got a dad that's 75 years old and clicks on the link and gets done and loses his entire retirement saving, he doesn't have the time to get it back. So,
No, it's
so what
awful.
Frank Abagnale's done is written this most amazing book about all the latest scams, and he teaches people in very simple English how to at least reduce that risk by 99%. And all the money that comes from that book goes to people around the world to help them, especially the older people, that's been done by scams. So I cannot
Really?
recommend it highly
Wow.
enough. Yeah,
Fantastic idea.
Seriously, go and buy the book.
Right, that's good. Interesting. Now, I remember the movie, and I was like, wow, and it's good because I never knew the outcome. That he's going to go to the right side of the fence, which is great. And so no,
Well,
fantastic.
I don't think he had much choice. He was given an ultimatum. He says either you come this side or you go away again for
yeah.
2 more years. And I think he chose, at that point, he decided, okay, maybe my luck has run out, so I better stay on the right side.
Superb, brilliant. So okay, so look, I mean, just get everyone kind of in the zone. Give us a 30-second elevator pitch so they know what you do at Westtech.
Okay, so Westtech is the holding company, the one that does all the business IT support. But Security Everywhere is the company that we set up, this year, beginning of this year, to really bring together the best of breed security solutions out there, known to mankind, at the most affordable price to the small business owner.
Right.
You know,
So we can get on and run our businesses in with total.
Precisely. I mean, the thing is, there's something like over 900 security solutions out there for businesses, small and bigger businesses. So how do you pick? You know, somebody said to me the other day, you know, I feel like walking down the aisles in Sainsbury's, and you know, and all these solutions on the shelf, but they're all white boxes, no names, no nothing. How do I know which one to pick? Well, I said exactly. That's why if you guys come to us, we will show you the 2, 3, 4, 5 products you need, or solutions that are very fast to install, that it gives you infinitely higher levels of protection at a zero contract, monthly rolling solutions. You know, so we've got clients now in 10 different countries, and you know, we just make it easy. We make it easy.
So who's we then?
Right,
you think we me? How big's the team?
Our internal team is 6. Our external team is 2,500 people.
Right. So the 2,500 people, they're like partnerships. They're businesses within their own rights.
Correct. So, for instance, one of our flagship solutions is called Sentry Defender, and Sentry Defender is the solution that the one that runs on the PC Mac, and that's backed by a team of 100 security specialists. And the software we actually use to deliver the service is called Sentinel-1. Now, I don't know if you know or heard of Sentinel-1, but Sentinel-1 is an AI-based behavior kind of solution that looks at 2 o'clock in the morning. Why is somebody copying files or sending files to China or India or link or somewhere? Normal antivirus software doesn't even detect that.
Right.
The problem that we have today, Ian, is that most solutions or security solutions on the market cannot detect this type of behavior. Most solutions cannot protect you against unknown threats.
Right.
And if I tell you that every second, 4 new versions of unknown threats are being released on the planet. So unless you've got using technology that's AI-based, that's looking at behavior, and if I tell you other companies using the same software, like for instance, NASDAQ, Barclays, Netflix, they all use the same software. And so what we've done is we've taken the software, we've combined it with a team of 100 security specialists and offering that as a small service, an entire security service for somebody who's working from home, a 1 user, a 5 user, a 50 user, a 100 user company around the planet,
Okay, superb. I mean, but then again, but still, you've got so many different choices out there. How do you know that's the right one? I mean, it's based on what? I mean, I know you've got all these. How do you know that is the right product, or how do you know that is the best option for one company? May not be a one size fit all type problem.
Let me answer your question in this way. Okay.
Okay.
I'm a facts kind of guy. I like zeros and ones. If you cut me in half, you'll probably find a computer, right?
Right.
So,
okay.
Like I said, we've been in the game for 30 years, and I've gone through so many different security solutions over the years. This is the first solution that I've ever seen that not only detects unknown threats, it kills it, reports on it in under 3 seconds.
Right. Okay.
And we can tell the entire storyline. Not only that, we also, it's one of the first products we've ever come across that allows us to give a guarantee. So in other words, if our solution, Sentry Defender, is running on all your computers, whether you've got 1 or 500 computers, I don't care, and they by some miracle manage to get past our solution, we will pay your ransom up to $1,000 per machine or up to $1 million per site. You find me another solution that does that. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
So you've got to be sure of your facts, and that's done by Sentinel-1, of course.
Superb.
But the thing is, so let me give you an example. So this, and I've got so many. I can give you a small one and then a big one. So let me give you an internal one. You can imagine I'm a bit paranoid when it comes to cyber.
You do what? Sorry, you work with what?
We're a bit paranoid when it comes to
right?
cybersecurity. Okay. Yeah, because as a cyber company, we cannot afford ever to get hacked.
Yes, right, sure.
So you probably can hear I'm South African, right? So do you remember who won the World Cup rugby?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Springboks. I mean, my best buddies lives over there in Cape Town. So yeah.
So, an hour after we won, I'm sitting in the kitchen, still celebrating. Very happy man. And my son comes running in. My 16-year-old son. He says, you've just blocked a file. I've just downloaded this file from a I'm not going to mention the name, very, very famous international gaming website. It's a mod, and I need this mod because I need this extra functionality, blah, blah. I said to him, tough. I said, I've got a team of 100 people, security specialists sitting in the US that says no. It says no. So let me give you the short version here. So think about this. We've got WebRoot antivirus running. We've got, Windows 10 Defender running on the machine. We've got another anti-encryption software running on the same computer. All 3 of them missed it. It was only Sentry Defender that identified it, quarantined it, killed it, and sent me the report on my iPhone in 3 seconds.
Right.
Now, Ian, here's the concern for me, right? Can you imagine how many people on the planet today do not run the same level of protection on their PCs or Macs?
Well, it's going to be, for what you're saying.
Exactly. So therefore, what I now know in this head, and these classes are from Specsavers, but the stuff I see every day is frightening. I will not touch a machine today at home or at the office unless it's running Sentry Defender. I won't, because I just won't feel protected enough.
Right. Wow. Okay. How long have you been selling that? How long has that been part of your offering?
We've been using it for over 2 years now.
Right. Okay. So that's a bit of a godsend for you. That was like the
exactly.
Yeah.
And this is it, because one of my favorite sayings is, you don't know what you don't know until you know, and that's normally too late. Now here's the thing. This is my favorite questions, and maybe I could show you some case studies in a minute, right? But I asked this question to so many people. What data is leaking from your computer right this very minute? And which country is that data leaking to? Nobody can answer me.
No, I don't know.
Because they don't know. And if I tell you that, if we look at just the UK, on average, something like, when I looked at the latest stats, 68% of small businesses in the UK have already been compromised, okay? I had a call just on Friday night from another small business owner, 1.5 million turnover company. He had a server. Well, that server has been compromised. It's been encrypted. They want $12,000 to send in the keys, right? Now,
wow.
It takes on average 237 days before a company even finds out that they've been compromised. And they're all running normal antivirus solutions. And there's my problem. Unless you have something that can detect this type of activity.
So what you're saying is, so that particular company, or a typical scenario like that, the ransom type scenario, could be intercepted like 7-8 months prior to when the company gets contacted about the actual ransom. So they've got all that. Yeah. Okay.
In some cases they might never, because what we're dealing now with a lot of charities. So listen to this, okay? So because people say, oh, it's a charity, they've got nothing to sell. Nah, they've got so many rich donors. So once I'm now putting my white hat hacker on just for a minute. I'm now sending you a link into your email at your charity. You click on the link. I've just installed the keylogger. So now I've got access to every single computer sitting in that charity. And every time you log on to your secure online CRM system where you store all your donations and all your donors' information, I now have access to everything. So now what I'll do, I'll use you as a conduit. So now that I've got your donors' information, I can now jump and I can go and find them, whether they're sitting on a yacht in the Bahamas or sitting in a house somewhere in Park Lane. Do you see the problem here? And this is why people, what I always talk about securing the island. The first thing we need to do in any environment, whether it's at home or the office, is secure the environment, the island, which means, you know, because so many people say, oh, but Francis, all my stuff is secure, it's in the cloud. I'm like, fantastic. How do you get there? Oh, I just log on from my Mac or my PC. I said, exactly. So unless you've got these things locked down with multi-factor authentication, which we can go into if you want in more detail, all I need as a hacker is to know your email address, which I can find online, and then just put a keylog on your machine. Now I've got your password the very next time you log on, and you're done.
Okay, cool. So CTOs, you know, typical SME or even a larger company, CTO all the way down, there's not enough being done. So the market's rife for you. So from a business growth potential, the world's your oyster?
You mean from my perspective, or
from
the hacker's perspective?
Sorry, no, from your perspective in terms of like...
Of course, absolutely. You know, but my challenge is, and I'm just being straight up here.
Yeah.
And the problem that I'm having, Ian, is that when we speak to companies, they always come to us after the event. You know, this guy that was hacked on Friday night, he's got this IT company in place. He's paying them 200 quid a month. They assured him that everything was okay. They said, no, keep your stuff on the server. You don't want to put it in the cloud because then you've got no control over it. What a nonsense.
So you need to kind of get into companies. So your issue is getting into companies prior, making them aware of previous situation nightmares that have happened, and saying, you know, and then, do you get roadblocked by the IT team?
Every time. You know, and I run an IT company, and the thing is, and this is my bold statement now, and some people might not like me saying this, but it's a fact. The biggest threat we have today to any business is either the internal IT department or the external IT company. Why? Because they're at least 2 years behind with their thinking. I think what business owners should do today is they need to split the roles. They need to split it between the IT company and the cybersecurity company. Why? Because you can't be a specialist at both. You can't be very good at fixing a PC today and being absolute brilliant at preventing cyber attacks the next day.
But surely that's obviously, I agree with you. I mean, because of the magnitude and how much it's accelerated over the last couple of years. It's in the public domain, etc. It's all over the news. Every other week we hear about it. You know, someone's been compromised, someone's data's gone from this website or from that public company, that bank. So it's definitely, you know, current issue that everyone's aware of. So because of that, has that bottleneck not been reduced to allow you to kind of like argue your case?
No, because again,
Really?
the owners of the businesses are relying on their providers, either internal or external, and they all go, no, you're fine, you're protected. No, you don't need this extra stuff. I
Yeah,
mean,
but if I was an IT guy, yeah, if I was an IT guy and a competitor of mine had been compromised and ransomed and all the rest of it, and I'd be thinking, crikey, you know, so I would be happy to kind of shift over that cyber
of
responsibility
course.
to you. So
Of course, we've had a number of IT companies coming to us now because we're not interested in to be truthful, on the for security where we do not want to touch the IT support. We just want to be there as their security arm or function. So we've had a number of them coming to us now and white labeling our solutions, which is great because we can pay them a commission forever just for a single introduction. And everybody wins. You know, the IT company wins, the client wins, and we win, and the hackers lose. That's a good outcome for me.
I think that's the way forward. I think it makes perfect sense for them as well. I'm surprised they're trying to hang on to something that they can't really, that they're not an expert in. I mean,
you know, it takes years and years and years and a lot of pain and energy and effort to even to get to this stage, you know, and we're constantly spending hours and hours every day just reevaluating. Like, for instance, we've just moved 800 people from my email defender solution from one company to a new company because the previous company just, again, it couldn't detect. So we now, with the new solution, we use AI to detect behavior. So let me give you an example. So let's say, and we're seeing this a lot now from people working from home,
yeah,
especially in the recruitment industry and some other industries as well. So somebody's sitting at home, they're working, and they decide to start doing backdoor, we'll call them backdoor deals. So
yeah,
they start sending the CVs or new clients to somebody that's not working in the company. And now they're using the email account, so you can see the stuff in the sent items. But guess what happens? They delete all their sent items.
yeah.
But they go one step further. They're very clever, these guys. They go and they delete the deleted items. Now,
Right, okay.
here's a big bing red flag for everybody. Okay,
Yeah.
Office 365 does not back up your data. Gmail does not back up your data. You need an external backup solution to back up your data. So that's why when the example I was just giving you was a referral of another good friend of mine. He's called Backdoor Barry, and
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know, do you know him?
Through links, I've heard of him. Yeah, heard of him through LinkedIn.
He's brilliant. So he sends me this referral for new company, so we can actually log on and prove that the data's been deleted. We couldn't prove it because the data was gone. It was gone. Now the client's got backups in place and they've got email security in place. But what I'm telling you, the story here is about the email security that we're using today is about, we call it DLP, data leak protection. So we can now alert the owner or the management team the moment somebody is deleting blocks of data, even if they're sitting at home.
Right, gotcha.
We can tell you if somebody's sending 10 CVs instead of 3.
Yeah. So the recruitment sector, I mean, it's obviously very close to my heart. I mean, I'm a recruiter, I'm a headhunter. So is that a massive, is that a niche area that you kind of, you're in?
Yeah. We've been working with recruiters for 21 years now. We've worked with Randstad all the way down with, startups. We just like working with recruitment companies because they're dynamic and like, look at you.
Yeah, thank you.
And the problem is that, and here's another bold statement, there's something like 30,000 plus recruitment companies. I don't know anymore, but that was the latest.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
In February. But there's 5,000 startups every year.
Yeah, I think it's more than that. It was more than that. Yeah.
Where do they get their data from? They steal it, allegedly, I say, from the previous employer.
Right, sure.
So we can help to stop that in the first place, because otherwise they just take your data and start up and you lose tens of thousands of placements.
I'm sure those giant companies like Randstad, etc. I mean, they must have an absolute nightmare in terms of managing all that, in terms of CV sends, because I mean they're sending out CVs all the time, so it blocks the things being deleted, and I mean it's just alarm bells start ringing, which is good, really, which is a good thing, But something, go on.
Yeah, sorry. What I was going to say, and I did another session this morning, and I was saying to the people, why is it that we live longer? We live longer because of earlier detection. So people are much less likely to die of cancer today because it's picked up earlier, it's treated, and then you live longer, right? Yeah. And cybersecurity is exactly the same. The sooner we can put systems in place to detect what's going on, both from a internal attack and from an external attack, external hackers, internal staff, the sooner we can stop it from happening in the first place, which means everybody wins.
Yeah, so really, yeah, it's really interesting. Really, really good, really good sector without doubt. Look, I can see just massive growth as well.
And the law firm, we do a lot of work with lawyers and solicitors. The problem with them, if they get done, what will happen is there's a very high chance that they'll lose their insurance. If they lose insurance, they close their business.
Yeah, right, sure. Exactly. Well, that's what I was going to ask you about insurance. I mean, how does it work? So if a company gets a ransom attack, ransom security scenario, I mean,
ransom attack's good, yeah.
I mean, so the insurance companies, I mean, do they make that company jump through hoops to kind of pay that? I mean, how often is it paid out?
Okay, great question. Nobody's ever asked me that question here. Never. So let me tell you. Now, here are the facts. Only 9% of businesses in the UK right now have cyber insurance.
Wow.
Did you know that this is hiscox.com will tell you this fact, okay? Did you know that you're now 9 times more likely to suffer a cyber attack compared to a burglary? So my recommendation to everybody,
what company or
today,
a household?
Both.
Really?
Both. So therefore, my recommendation is go and cancel your content insurance and buy cyber insurance, because your return on investment is going to be infinitely higher.
Yeah, without doubt.
So now let me answer your question. So also the other thing, I mean, last week we helped 7 companies to go through the Cyber Essentials accreditation. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
No, not.
It's brilliant. I cannot recommend it highly enough to companies. A lot of companies now, if you want to tender for NHS or medical, one of the tick boxes you need is Cyber Essentials. So Cyber Essentials, if you can imagine MOT for a car, Cyber Essentials is a one year snapshot that they've got a government process that allows you to look at the business and look at key areas from a cybersecurity perspective. And if you pass all these areas, you get a certificate.
Right, which allow you to then tender for whatever you want to tender for.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I've got a few here. It looks like something like that.
Right, okay. Okay. So who's that done by? Who's the...
I can never say that. IASMA, the government,
Okay.
IASMA. So it's a really good thing, because it shows very quickly again, when you go through this process, which areas in the business are lacking cybersecurity or not enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just cannot believe the opportunity
to do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I mean, how much is it? £300? You said £300.
Yeah. For the depends where you go, because there are some real cowboys out there. Because when you submit your first submission, and let's say it doesn't go through, some companies would charge you again and again and again to do it. Where the companies that we use for our examiner will only charge you 300 plus VAT once, and not charge you again and again, which is great. I mean,
it's a great checklist. It's a great checklist to kind of go through.
It's 12 pages long, so it's quite detailed. I mean, we help people. We charge them a small fee, and we take them through the process, and we can do checking. But most people don't. They're like, I didn't even know this stuff should have been here or could have been here, or they don't have a clue, because they just they don't even, nobody's ever told them. So
I suppose it's like an MOT, because when you take your car for an MOT and it says, right, okay, we need this and this, and I didn't know it had that on there, or didn't know.
Exactly. So there's a lot of operating systems out there that's no longer supported. Both on
it sounds like
PC.
It. Yeah.
Which means there's a massive security hole in the environment. Whether it's at the office or at home.
Right. I mean, so tell us about how it all works. Then, so obviously you started the business, and you're the front man. So you're out there, you're generating business and awareness as well, which is the main thing. Yeah. And then how's it kind of like tiered down from you?
Sure. So I'm very lucky. I work with a business partner called Graham Ison. He's absolute genius. He's also been in the sector he's got 1 year on me. It was his birthday yesterday. And then we have a small team. So it's 6 of us in total that works
the glue
day to day within the business.
Right.
And then if you go onto our westec.co.uk website, you'll see the structure of our setup. So we've got 8 lovely ladies in just down the road that takes all our first line calls. We have a server team sitting in Mumbai that we outsource our server stuff to, of 600-700 people. I told you about our security operating center sitting in Pennsylvania with 100 people. Then we've got, sometimes people want desktop support. You know, we can now offer desktop support in different languages. We've got over 400 people sitting in Pennsylvania, Manila, and soon in the UK as well. But
Wonderful.
we normally only use those people if people want 24/7 support. All the day-to-day stuff is all done by us. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. So I mean,
So
like
yeah.
So if you've got like an active sales team that are kind of following up on inquiries, or are they going out there practically knocking doors down, going into different sectors?
You're looking at them.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
No, I mean, we're lucky. We get so many inbound referrals from existing clients, and also, you know, from working with people like yourself and doing webinars. Right. You know, we're constantly helping people, and they come to us if they're serious about protecting themselves and their family and their livelihoods. They come to us regardless of who they're using at the moment.
Gotcha.
And we just tell them straight, South African way, this is what you need, this is what we recommend, up to you.
Right.
You know, that's it. No contracts, this is it. If you don't like it, you turn it off. Simple as that.
Wonderful. Superb. So brilliant. Glad to know that. I'm glad for you to kind of get it out there as well, because obviously once we kind of push out this podcast and webinar, that people understand the support mechanism behind Francis West. What's behind the curtain? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, there's a big curtain. You know, I can't. I mean, I do. I love doing this. This is the bit that although I'm very technical, you know, and I'll be.
No, you're a great communicator as well.
I'll be in the back room any day to do stuff and get nitty. You know, I enjoy this bit more.
Right.
For me, spending my time educating and creating awareness is infinitely more rewarding, because I know that every time I do one of these, I'm helping one more person, not to click, not to become very skeptical. Definitely. And then, you know, I again, you should maybe include the link. You know, I'd gladly share the link on my LinkedIn as well. If you want a 15-minute chat with me, ask me any question. I'll give you the honest answer if I know.
Well, that's great. I hope people take you up on that. You know, that our listeners, and I mean, obviously at the end of this interview, obviously, again, for people that are listening and that can't see this, I'll obviously share with them your contact information, the web address, so they can kind of reach out to you directly. You know,
the other thing, before I forget, the other thing which I'd like to offer everybody that's listening, if that's okay, is we do a lot of dark web monitoring. So, you know, I always like it when we're using Zoom. Let me put you on the spot. Yeah,
go for it.
You've been using Zoom since April, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Have you changed your password for Zoom since April? Yeah.
No, I haven't.
All right, let me tell you something here. Did you know that in April this year, 500,000 Zoom email and passwords became for sale on the dark web?
500,000.
500,000. Do you know how much for? Less than 1 penny. Less than 1 penny. So here's the next question I have for you, Ian. You can lie if you want to, but don't if you can't. Promise me that you're not using the same username, which is your email address, and your password for your Zoom account, for your email account, for your Netflix account, for your CRM account, for your baby alarm, for your Apple TV, for your... You get the point?
Yeah, I get you. I'm not actually for that one. Yeah.
I'm delighted to hear that, because so many people do.
Yeah.
So this data ends up in the dark web. The hackers go and buy these lists for less than a penny, and then they just brute force attack. They'll go through every account, your MyFitnessPal, your Canva. So Canva last year was compromised. And if I tell you how many millions of records were sitting on the dark web for sale now for less than 1 penny. So
less than a penny? It doesn't make any sense.
Less than 1 penny. So I mean, we can buy credit cards for a couple of quid if you want. You know, ones that are working from the dark web. And so the reason why I'm sharing the story with you, Ian, is that I'm hoping that people listening today, if I can give you one bit of advice, is do not ever use the same password for more than one account. Number one. Number two.
I struggle with that. You're right, but I mean, I'm going to admit.
I know you struggle, but I've got the answer.
Because I don't know where to keep them and stuff like that, and you know, the passwords. Devices you can have and whatever. I mean, I've got my own secret place where I keep things, whatever, and not on my phone either.
You know, this is going to go public, so you be careful what you say now.
So, yeah, exactly.
Do you know how to fix this problem?
Go for it. Tell me.
It's going to cost. How much do you like to spend on a beer? 5 quid.
But are you on about how to make the password, so I can look out the window
Yeah.
and say car,
No,
grass,
no,
brick.
no. We're not there yet. You need to use a password manager.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't. I know, but I mean, I've got one of those, or did use one of those before, and
Why did you stop? Are you mad?
because that could be compromised as well, right?
No. Let me explain why not. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that, because yes, they can. And you know why? Because people don't set them up properly. It's like people say to me, and I'm going to come back to that point because it's such an important point that we need to deal with. So many people go to me, oh, but you know, Zoom is not secure, or this is not secure, or LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fantastic. Tell me something. You drive, yes. Whose responsibility is it to drive that car secure or safely? It's the driver's responsibility. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So when you buy a new piece of kit, or you sign up to Zoom or to any other account online, whose responsibility is to set it up in such a way that the hackers can't get into it? It's your responsibility, or the IT company. But if they don't tell you, it's still your responsibility. Would you agree?
Now, yeah. No, I agree. I just maybe the passwords.
So if you use a password manager like Identity Defender, you know, on our security-everywhere.com, if you go to that website and you look under products, the very first product is called Identity Defender, and it's based on a product called Keeper. Now, yes, you can go buy it direct, but the thing is, they're going to charge you. You've got to buy a minimum of 5. You've got to pay yearly. We do monthly, and we charge like less than £5 per license. Now, I'm going to answer your question. Once you've installed it and you've imported, so by the way, we haven't even got here yet, you've imported all those unsecure passwords sitting in your Chrome browser or in your Safari or one of your other browsers. Remember, if I can get onto your computer, I'll go and look in your browser settings and I'll find everything you've ever logged on, including all your passwords.
Right, that's scary.
That's easy. That's easy to get, right? Now, once you install your password manager, like the one I'm recommending, you can import it, and then you go and delete them from your browsers. Now what you do is not only do you protect your password manager with a sentence, but you can also protect it with your face. So for instance, if I log on with my password manager, I need to use Face ID. So unless somebody takes my face off, they can't get to my password, number one. Number two, here's the PC or Mac answer. What you do, and again, I could demonstrate this if you want, but what you do, and I've got mine set to every 4 hours. Every 4 hours, my password manager logs out. So what I do is when I log on, I've got to log on with my email address and then my long sentence password. But there's a third thing that I need. And the third thing I need is my multi-factor authentication code.
Right.
Now that code only lasts for 30 seconds. Now, if a hacker can get into this office, put a gun against my head, ask me to unlock my phone with my face, he can have my code. Otherwise, there's no way on this planet that he's going to have my code that's only lasting 30 seconds is sitting on this phone. Right. So do you see? So even if somebody managed by some miracle after my 6 layers of security to get onto my PC here, they still need this device that I've got in my hand and always have in my hand before they can get in. Right. And that's how you secure a password manager, Ian.
Right.
If you don't do it this way, say goodbye to the data.
Right, superb. So the multi-factor authentication, that's the key factor. I mean, that's a lot more popular now because I mean, you can even get that with your bank. You got to type in.
I mean, in the old days, remember we used to have this.
I remember those. Yeah, I remember those.
The banks.
Yeah,
so something you know, something you have. You know your username, you know your password. Something you have is this thing, and then you put your card in. All that's happened now has gone from here to an electronic version.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But please, again, I'm begging people. I'm dead serious when I say this. Go and make a list. Think about it. Your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your Facebook, your WhatsApp, your Netflix, your PayPal, your Zoom. My Zoom, I can't get into Zoom without putting my code in. Because I don't want people to hack into my Zoom account. Right. With all these recordings and stuff. Not happening.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah.
Okay.
But
you know, people phone me up here and they're crying on the phone. And they go, Francis, I've been recommended to you. You need to help me. And I'm like, I can do nothing about the past, but I can do so much about the future.
Right. So does that happen? I mean, so in terms of getting data back or whatever, I mean, you never get involved in that at all, really?
No, we do. Oh, we do a lot of recoveries. Oh, yeah, we do. We've got specialist teams again that we work with other partners as well. You know, we work with, like I said, Metropolitan and Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire crime units. So, you know, and I've got some big boys that we can pull in, you know, that's not employed by us, but that we partner with. But the bottom line is that if you suffer a cyber attack, there's two ways of getting your data back.
Yeah.
One,
yeah.
you pay the ransom, which I don't recommend. Two, you restore from backups. That's it. There's only two ways.
Yeah.
And the problem is, I'm sorry, I'm going to get scary now. The problem with number two now is unless you have a backup solution that makes sure that there's no embedded ransom or malware or keylogger sitting inside that backup, when you then restore, how far do you have to restore before you get to a clean version of your data? Because the moment you do a recovery, guess what? You're just restoring the infections as well.
So it just stays there from before. So it's there from before. So
Yeah, it's like a file. It's just a program. It executes as soon as you restore it.
Superb.
So now you're going back again. So that's why I go back to the island. You need to secure the island. PCs, servers, Macs. Make sure nothing leaves. And the only way you can do that was with a solution like Sentry Defender or better. I'm yet to find better. We did find one competitor they call CrowdStrike. Now, if I don't tell you that CrowdStrike, for what we do, similar, they charge $40 a month per machine. We charge $15.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Superb. I mean, look, it's just amazing, amazing stuff. We're running out of time. It's 2:55, and
we haven't even warmed up yet.
I know. It's just kind of getting going.
This morning, I was supposed to do 20 minutes. We did an hour and a half because I was showing them. Can I show you one last thing? A few things before we go.
Go for it. Yeah, definitely. Well, look, I've shared the screen, so go for it.
Let me share my screen. I want to show you a couple of things. Just maybe that will also again help people.
Yep.
The first thing I'm going to show you here. You can Google this. This is not even on the cloud. This is not dark web. This is real stuff. This is what we're looking at right now, Ian.
Yeah.
Is a live cyber attack map.
Wow.
These are attacks going on. It's 1 minute out of date, so by the way. It updates every minute. So one of our biggest firewall suppliers is called SonicWall. We use them for years. It's funny. They've just now gone and introduced the same security solutions. We've been using it for 2 years. They've just adopted the same technologies we've been doing for our clients for 2 years. And they're much bigger than us, of course. But now I'm going to show you something really scary. You see down the bottom here?
Yeah. The
top 3 attack origins and the top 3 attack targets. Look at this. The top origin right now for most attacks coming from is United States first, and we are second. Crazy. And France is third.
Coming from? Attacks coming from?
From.
Wow.
Now, how does this happen? Very simple. Again, remember, I keep on referring to, I'll send an email. So once somebody is in your system, they'll use you as a launch pad. They'll use your email, your PC, your Mac, your server to launch all the attacks from.
So that's not really so really that isn't where it's originating from, but it is because somebody could be in another part of the world, have got into your PC and are actually activating it from there. But
yes,
but where are they from a data perspective or in terms of factual knowledge? These criminals, where are they typically?
Well, they could be anywhere. They could be because my point is, you know, unless they sending the attack from where they are physically, then you can see them appear on this map. But what they're doing is they jump into people's computers and then launch the attack. So it looks like the attack is coming from United States, from France. But look at the receiving end. The receiving end, United States first, India second, and us third. We are the third largest attacked country on the planet right now. Wow. Okay.
That is insane. It's insane.
So that's the first thing. The second thing I'm going to show you is this, right? And we're running out of time. I'm quickly going to run this. If you ever want to see what happens if your stuff ends up on the public web, go to showdown.io. This is where you find people's baby alarms, their webcams, their industrial control systems, their Xboxes. They're all sitting here, public knowledge, sitting on the web for you to log on to. Guess why? Because you never change the default password. So another thing on bing, 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 please go and change every single device.
Live camera?
Live, Ian.
Well, can we see?
Go and look. I'm not going to show you now. You can go and sign up a free account and you do what you like. I don't like to stay here for too long because just in case it traces back to my computer.
Wow, that's incredible.
Well, and this is where hackers start. They come in here because it's public, because what the site does, every night it goes around the planet and finds all these unsecured devices and then lists them for everybody to hack into.
Proper scary stuff.
Okay.
It really is. It's just such an eye-opener.
Okay, this here, brilliant site. If you want to see how long it takes to hack into your system or into your password, to crack your password, type in the password here. What's the other one? This is also a very good one we use a lot. So haveibeenpawned.com. If you type in your email address here, it'll tell you instantly how many times your email address has been compromised. You won't even sometimes know about it. No, exactly. Look, Canva. Remember I told you Canva?
Yeah, Canva.
Canva lost 137 million subscribers records last year in May. Do you know how many people are using Canva?
Yeah, I'm a member of it. I use Canva.
Okay. Did you change your password, Ian, since May last year?
I don't think I started using it until after then, if I'm honest. But I don't use it anymore.
That's why, you know, I cannot recommend highly enough. If you want to spend the least amount of money today, spend a $5 instead of a beer and get yourself Identity Defender, which is the leading enterprise
we spoke about that,
software.
Yeah, about my...
And that's it. And then at least you're protecting your identities and your passwords to start with. Then if you want to increase layers, then like I said, you do the other stuff. But for me, it's the least amount of money you can spend to get the best level of protection, not only for yourself, but your husband, your partner, your daughter, your son.
Right, yeah, that's really good. No, honestly, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's been a massive eye-opener. It really is. And I think a lot of people that are the same as well are going to be shocked to understand how easy it is to be severely, how can I say,
well,
in some serious trouble.
If we can summarize, is please, you know, I'd recommend, well, there's so much more. We need to do another session because I didn't get into wireless networking at home and how to protect yourself. But, you know, get yourself a password manager, set up, multi-factor authentication, get better PC or Mac security, set up a guest Wi-Fi at home so that you can move all your work devices onto the guest Wi-Fi and leave everybody else on the normal Wi-Fi. You know, just do those few basics and instantly you'll be 98% better protected than your mates and your colleagues and the house next door.
Sure.
Simples.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolute whirlwinds information is just like proper scary, but really, really good information. And so much more I wanted to kind of get into about the company and blah, 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 and where you're going and business and sectors, etc. But we're going to have to do a part 2, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, let's do a part 2. Then we can just deep dive in. Or maybe, I'll tell you what, hopefully people can come forward with some questions.
Yeah.
After listening to this, the areas that they're really concerned about, and then let's go and address those.
Sounds good. Wonderful.
In the next session.
Okay, great. If anyone's listening, I've been speaking to Francis West. Francis is the founder, CEO of West Tech and Security Everywhere. So that's security-everywhere.com. And based in Hertfordshire, you can find Francis West on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to kind of share his details with you. And but again, Francis has been a wonderful guest, really, really good insight to the viewers and listeners of Digital Hub. So I just want to say thank you very much.